Oh, what's up, guys? It's Anthony from the Scale with Sales team here. And today I wanted to go over with you guys what are the five, I have five worst sales call mistakes, but I would also say five most common sales mistakes that I typically see from anybody that hasn't been through some pretty extensive sales training. Okay. With that being said, let's just jump right into it. If you guys want to get access to this document, it will be in the YouTube description as well. Okay. So, mistake one, pretty much, I feel like everybody does this when they start off, and whenever I first start. So, mistake number one, failing to frame the call effectively. Most people typically, they don't even frame the call at all. They set no frame for the call. Okay. So, typically, what this looks like right here in the middle, we have rapport imbalance. Okay, so what a lot of people do is they get into rapport, their rapport is too long, and then they just try to transition right into discovery, okay, without ever setting a nice, clear frame. And what that does is it just never establishes your authority. It never establishes the frame, not only of the call in terms of the agenda, but the frame that you're setting in which the prospect views you. What's the frame? Picture frame and how they're actually seeing you. So without doing that, then you just transitioning from, buddy rapport, friendly rapport into discovery. It never solidifies our authority. Okay. And what do we say? People need to respect you, not just like you in order to buy from you. Okay. So they never establish their expertise or their authority immediately, which diminishes their credibility and influence with prospects. Exactly. Okay. And it leaves that structure just absent. The other thing, right? There's a few outcomes we're looking for by setting the frame. We set the agenda for the call, basic things. This is what's going to happen on the call. So that way, if you set that clear agenda of this is what we're going to do first, I'm going to ask you questions, then I'm going to show you the program if we feel like it's a good fit, et cetera, right? That was a very basic frame. It's going to prevent somebody from asking you about the price 2 minutes into the call if you tell them exactly how the call is supposed to go, okay? The second thing is it establishes your credibility because you're the one running the call. You're the one leading the call. You're the one who just set the agenda, the frame for the call. So by default, if you do this properly, you have created a frame of authority for yourself, okay? So it's created structure, it's created a frame of authority, and it's just going to be a nice flow, okay? It also makes sure that they know how long the call is going to take. That's always a good point to add in rapport as well. In I should say rapport and framing the call. Okay. Mistake number two, poor discovery questions. Effective discovery isn't just about qualification. It's about strategically uncovering needs while preemptively addressing potential objections, right? So the three biggest things that I see people do with discovery is they focus too much on qualifying questions that are very direct that could actually break rapport. So most people know they're supposed to ask questions in discovery. They don't know what to ask. They don't know how to ask. They don't know when or why to ask what they're asking. And when you tell them to start pre-handling objections, that pretty much just sounds like them very bluntly just saying, hey, do you have a husband or a wife that needs to be on the call? Right. And there's nothing wrong with asking direct questions, but I feel like most people do it in an uncalibrated way. They never do it with any context. Okay. They always just blurt it right out. Okay. And then they end up running into that objection later on still, which is crazy. So they also don't ask questions that have utility. So they're missing opportunities to pre-handle objections. That's the whole point of discovery, is to pre-handle objections. Get somebody closed before you get to the close. So you're failing to create a foundation for their solution because we're not really creating a big enough need or gap between where they are now and where they want to go. So discovery has to have intention and outcomes that we're looking for, okay? So pre-handling objections prior to the close, getting commitment, getting tied down, which is the same thing in a sense, okay, from that person that they're committed to wanting to change their situation, wanting to change, feels like they need a solution, feels like they need help. Before they even know what we offer, they need to be bought and sold onto those two things. Mistake number three, very similar, unclear objectives and premature closing. So most people don't really have an outcome. They don't have an outcome that they're looking for. The outcome that they're looking for is, oh, I just want to close. what would really help you get better at sales is if you took each section of the close, rapport, frame, or of the sales call, rapport, frame, discovery, pitch, tie downs, price presentation, right? What's the outcome you're looking for from each stage? Not just the whole call. Obviously, we're on the call to get the close. Of course, that's the outcome. What's the outcome we're looking for from each stage of the sales call? Okay, we just went over that with frame and discovery. Okay, so we went over that with frame and discovery. What if you did that for every step? So now instead of you focusing on, I don't know what to say, why do I not know what to say? If you more so know what the outcome is that you're looking for, that should help guide you in you knowing what you need to say or what you need to ask to get to that outcome, or how you need to hit on your certain pillars in your pitch, in your presentation. What's the outcome you're looking to achieve? Each call should have a specific objective that moves the prospect one step closer to becoming a customer, okay? To becoming a client. Most people just ask questions and then they just present their price. They like verbally vomit their price. Mistake number 4, focusing on the pitch rather than the commitment to change. So the thing is, guys, this also ties into discovery, okay? So we could go back to mistake 2 in a sense, but it's more so you're focusing on what's going to sell your prospect is your pitch. That's bullshit, okay? And the reason that is because they don't know what your solution is going to give them. I always use the example. If you're a fitness coach and somebody already knows how to get in shape, they wouldn't be on the call with you. They're on the call because they, quite frankly, don't know how to get the result that they believe you can help them get. You're the expert, not them. So if you're focusing on all these features and benefits and little nuanced details about how you're going to help them, you're just going to confuse them. You're just going to overload them with information. What they need to be bought into is you. By being a good salesperson, by being a good closer, by being a good coach, okay? Your pitch is not going to sell them. So if we can remove all of the focus off of our pitch and keep it simple, that means our focus has to be directed somewhere else, which is discovery, which is where the close really happens. That's where we're getting them to commit to change before they even know the solution. So start focusing here. And then mistake number 5, overlooking tie downs, okay? And affordability assumptions. I don't know why I generated this. I don't know why this should be 2 different mistakes, but it is what it is. We'll cover both of them, okay? So the power of tie downs. Tie downs are short confirmation questions that secure agreement throughout the conversation as you're going through, getting small little micro commitments. So that way, we're not just going through the call assuming that the person wants to keep listening or wants to keep the call going or wants to hear the price or wants to keep going and then the next steps. We're not assuming that. We're getting tied on. So for example, after you present your pitch, how does that sound? What do you feel like you would find beneficial out of that? Right? You're tying them down to the process. Okay. Other examples. Does that make sense? Doesn't it? Right? Or you'd agree that's important, right? Okay. So those are some really good tie downs as well. Like as you're going through your pitch or parts of the call and you're breaking it up and getting tie downs in between. And then the last mistake is affordability projections. A lot of people, they start doing discovery and they're like, oh, this person's in a bad position. They probably can't afford this. So then they shoot themselves in the foot and they pitch a lower program. They pitch a lower price. They start to project that because that person's situation is bad, that they're going to be broke and not want to take action. They shoot themselves in the foot of a close and potentially making more money if that person does close. It's good. Present the price based on the pain, not the situation. This person's in a lot of pain. Their situation's shitty, right? They really need this. That's a better mindset to think about. They really need this. They really need this help. They're better off with this solution. Okay? Guys, can't tell you how many times people do that. You're subconsciously like projecting that person's financial situations onto your ability to close them in a sense. Okay? So I hope you guys found this helpful. Like I said, link to this will be in the description here on YouTube. And if you guys are looking for more help with sales, would highly suggest you book a call with our team. Peace out.